You order something at a restaurant, it arrives, then you glance at the next table, see what they got, and instantly, before you've even taken a single bite, you regret your own choice. For a long time, neuroscientists assumed only humans were capable of that exact feeling. Then they ran an experiment on rats, and the rats felt it too. It's one of 10 animal behaviors on this list that genuinely stumped researchers the first time they saw them, challenging our ideas of what an animal can actually experience. Let's start at number 10. You know that half second when you catch your reflection in a shop window and almost don't register it's you? Scientists use a version of that exact test to check whether an animal understands the concept of self. For decades, only species like chimps and dolphins passed it. Then researchers tried it on a small reef fish called the cleaner wrasse. They marked its throat with a spot only visible in a mirror. The fish saw its reflection, then immediately swam over and scraped its throat against a rock, trying to remove a mark it could only have known about by understanding that the reflection was its own body. This suggests that self-recognition doesn't require a massive mammalian cortex. A reef fish can process the complex concept of self using a fraction of the brain cells found in the animals we usually associate with high intelligence. Most of us feel completely lost the second our phone's battery dies, but some animals navigate globally without ever needing a map, a compass, or a signal. This diagram shows how sea turtles cross thousands of miles of open ocean by directly sensing Earth's magnetic field, returning to their exact hatching beach with zero landmarks. Zooming into the eye reveals specialized proteins that literally translate magnetism into a physical visual overlay. Magnetoreception is an ability so alien to human biology that we don't even have a working comparison for it. It's an invisible sense operating right in front of us. Look at this sleeping octopus. You know the way a person's leg might twitch or they might mumble a word while sleeping? An octopus does something far stranger. With no external triggers, prey, or predators around, its skin starts rapidly shifting color and texture on its own. It flashes the exact complex camouflage patterns it uses while hunting or fending off threats. Researchers categorize this rapid cycling as a visual rehearsal of its waking life, an octopus essentially dreaming in color. Moving to number 7, we recognize the human instinct of childhood play, messing around with a toy just because it's fun. Researchers at Queen Mary University of London found that exact same drive in bumblebees. Given a clear path to their food, bees would actively detour to roll small wooden balls sitting off to the side. The bees received zero reward for doing this. Measurable demographic patterns emerged. Younger bees played more than older ones, and male bees played longer than females. It's a quantifiable age and sex pattern of play in an insect. Number 6. Anyone who has ever been assigned a group project knows the frustration of a lazy partner who won't pull their weight. Octopuses hunt in cooperative groups with reef fish, and they feel that exact same frustration. When one fish, usually a grouper, hangs back during a hunt to let everyone else do the work, the octopus doesn't ignore it. It hauls off and delivers a fast, targeted punch with one arm, striking the freeloading fish to force it to contribute or leave entirely. These aren't mindless biological machines. Octopuses enforce social rules and dream in full color, while bees detour for recreation, behaviors that reveal a level of internal mental life once thought impossible for these species. This map of the Pacific Ocean illustrates number 5. Just like a viral song dominates human playlists for a summer before fading out, humpback whales have a massive, evolving music culture. A single new song composed by one population off the coast of Australia will spread, population by population, thousands of miles east. Within a couple of years, whales that have never met will all be singing a version of the exact same tune. Number 4 takes us from culture to tragedy. When something bad happens to someone you know, the human instinct is to gather. Crows do something remarkably similar. When a crow dies, others in the area will gather around the fallen bird, hosting what looks like a funeral. They caw, investigate the body, and even call in crows from outside their immediate flock. Rather than human-defined grief, researchers found the crows use these gatherings to collect critical intelligence, learning exactly what killed their flock member so they can avoid that specific threat or predator in the future. But number 3 looks very different. When elephants come across the remains of another elephant, they deliberately slow down. They go quiet. They reach out and gently touch the sun-bleached bones with their trunks. They do this even for remains that have been dead for years, and even for elephants they never actually knew in life. We cannot fully define how they understand death, but the pause, the silence, and the deliberate touch prove a profound social response to mortality that goes far beyond simple animal survival. At number 2, if your dog gets weirdly clingy the second you pet another animal, you aren't imagining it. A UC San Diego study proved that dogs exhibit active, targeted jealousy by having owners show affection to a realistic, mechanical stuffed dog while their actual pet watched. The real dogs didn't just whine. They physically pushed between their owner and the fake rival, snapped at the toy, and actively tried to break up the interaction. 86% of them even sniffed the fake dog's rear end, checking it out as a legitimate social threat. And that brings us to number 1, and back to that restaurant table. To understand how animals process bad decisions, researchers at the University of Minnesota built an experiment called Restaurant Row. This top-down schematic maps out the test. Rats were given 4 food stations with different wait times. Sometimes a rat would abandon a good option, hoping for something better, and end up with a worse one. When that happened, they didn't just eat and move on. They physically stopped, turned, and looked backward at the exact option they had skipped. Their brain activity, recorded in real time, specifically encoded the exact choice the rat should have made, distinguishing this feeling from simple disappointment. By pinpointing the mistake, the rat's brain showed the same signature for regret that we find in humans. Regret requires the recognition that your own choice caused your current problem. The Restaurant Row data suggests that humans and rats run the exact same mental circuit when they make a bad decision. 10 behaviors, from fish passing mirror tests to rats regretting their lunch. These observations challenge the long-held idea that complex cognitive traits belong exclusively to humans. If you want to see the flip side of this, animals that don't just act strange but physically look like they shouldn't exist, check out our video on 10 animals that look fake but are 100% real next. Tell me in the comments which of these 10 behaviors hit closest to home for you, because the more we look at how animals navigate their world, the more obvious it becomes that the emotional gap between them and us is much, much smaller than we once thought. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.